Hello everyone, today we're making organic fresh milled tortillas. And the ingredients for today are 2 cups of fresh milled flour, which is 240 grams of hard white wheat and 120 grams of Kamut. And then we need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of oil, 3/4 cups of milk, and a tablespoon of vinegar. So here we are, we're milling up my berries in the mock mill. And then we're gonna add our baking powder. And we're using my Anchor Some mixer to mix up this dough for our tortillas today. So here we are adding the baking soda. Then we're going to add our salt. We're adding our vinegar to our milk as per what it says in the recipe. Then we're adding our oil to the mixture. We're gonna put our milk and vinegar in the oven to warm it up. And pour it into our mixture and give it a blend. So we have everything in there and now we're mixing it all up to make our dough. And it says to let it set there for 10 minutes and let it rest. This is like a 10-minute rest period every time we go do something with this dough because it needs time for the gluten to rest before you go ahead and do the other stuff. So now we're kneading it for about 10 minutes. So we can get the dough ready to rest before we do the rest of it. And it really did work. I tried making tortillas before and not giving it the rest period time. It made a world of difference. I was shocked. I was just like, oh, okay, so it really does need the rest period. You just can't really jump into it. And hand kneading it is kind of relaxing, so yeah. So we're almost done doing that, and now we're gonna set it out and let it rest for another 10 minutes. So you might wanna, carve some time out in your day to make these homemade tortillas because it does need to have this 10-minute rest period. So now I'm gonna section these out to make the tortillas. So you want to count them out and see how many you can make with that much dough. I can't remember exactly how many I made. I know it was a little pile. So we're going to make little round balls. So that's what I'm doing, is trying to get it all separated out to make the balls. Trying to make them all even. I mean, you don't have to be precise, but I guess it just depends on how big you want your tortillas. How many balls do you want to use? I think I might have made like 8 or close to 12. Or maybe even 10, I can't remember. But it was a nice amount to use. So it says to put a little bit of oil on all of them. So that's what I'm doing. And let them rest for another 10 minutes. I suppose they just don't want that to dry out or something. As you're rolling it up, just add the oil onto it and then put them over to the side, and then we have to let them rest for 10 minutes after we get them all rolled out. So that's what I'm doing right now, is rolling all the balls out, putting a little bit of oil. I just kind of put the oil in the middle of the mat, so you can just kind of dredge it in there. The dough is kind of stiff a little bit. Maybe it just makes it a little bit more pliable. I'm not sure. So we almost got them all done, and we're going to set them out and let them rest for 10 minutes. Looks like I got 9 out of them. So the rest period for 10, and now that we're done resting, now you want to roll them out to our tortilla size. So while you're rolling them out, you can have your fry pan heat up. I used a cast iron pan. You don't have to have any oil or anything. You can just throw them on there when you're done. Just make them thin or thick, is however thick or thinness you want them. I made them pretty thin. They're very easy to roll out after you let them rest. So we're gonna put them on our cast iron skillet and cook it until you see little bubbles, or it browns on one side and then you give it a flip to the other side. See the bubbles? You're starting to see the bubbles. That's usually when you can flip it, and it has little sear marks on it. So I'm just letting it set there. It's pretty thin. It's not thick. It's not a perfect circle either, but they are homemade tortillas, so it don't have to be perfect. So you just want to cook them on both sides for a couple minutes each side, and then take them out and put them in a towel, because they can steam the rest of the way while you're making the other ones. And this makes it pliable, where you can move them and bend them, because sometimes they get stiff. So there's my pile of 9 that I made. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And thanks for watching.